Hello guys, and welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be making my official predictions for the 26-27 EFL League One campaign. And as you can see, I've got all 24 clubs once again in front of me on the tier list, and today I'm going to be working in alphabetical order for making these predictions. And once again, I want to say it's just a bit of fun, so don't go hating me in the comments. But let's begin, and we're going to start with AFC Wimbledon, who I had bottom last season and they stayed up. Very well done to them, but I think this season could be a bit trickier to stay up, in honesty. I think the likes of Exeter and Northampton have gone down, and I think that it's going to be a trickier season for Wimbledon, given they started the season well and tailed off last season. I've got Wimbledon in 23rd place. I think there'll be one club a bit lower down than them, but ultimately I do have Wimbledon going down. And next up we've got Barnsley, and Barnsley are another interesting one. They're one in previous years I would have had pushing for the playoffs, but in recent years they've kind of tailed off towards mid-table, and while I could see Barnsley pushing on this season, I ultimately do have them mid-table again. I've got Barnsley in 11th place. I think, yeah, I just think it's going to be another season of mid-table mediocrity for Barnsley. Next up, we have got Bromley, I believe. Nope, it's Blackpool. Blackpool is next, and Blackpool are another club that I could see. You know, they're another club that in previous years you would have pushing for playoffs or promotion, but again, in recent years they've tailed off a bit recently, and I do think it's going to be another season of steady mid-table. I don't think they'll be really pushing for promotion, and I don't think they'll be, you know, in any danger of going down. I've got Blackpool in the 13th place. I think, yeah, it's just going to be another steady Eddie season in League One for Blackpool. Next up, we've got Bradford City, and yeah, Bradford made the playoffs last year, and I think it could well be more of the same this season. It could be. I think they'll be in and around the playoffs all season, but actually I ultimately have them just missing out on the playoffs here. I've got Bradford in 8th place. I've got them ahead of Barnsley there. Yeah, and this one's tricky. I think Bradford have the quality to make the playoffs again, but I think, you know, the League One looks a bit tougher this season with the clubs going down from the Championship, so ultimately I do have them just missing out on the skin of their teeth in 8th place. Then we've got Bromley, and Bromley are by far the smallest club in this division. Well done for getting promoted from League 2, but ultimately I think it might be a step too far. Again, I'd love to be proven wrong about this, but ultimately I do have them going down, but not bottom. I think the promotion party may well continue into the season. I've got Bromley in 22nd. I think they might finish ahead of a couple other clubs here, but ultimately I do think they're just, the size of them is just too small to stay up. Next up we have got Burton Albion, and Burton are always a side that are sniffing around the relegation places and always somehow find a way to survive. But ultimately this year I think, as I said, like I said with Wimbledon, I think, you know, with the likes of Exeter and Northampton and, you know, some other smaller clubs going down to League 2, I think it might be their time here. I've got Burton Albion going down as well in 21st place. I think, yeah, Burton will ultimately drop, but I think they will be pushing for survival again. But this time I think they may well go down. Next up we have got Cambridge United, and Cambridge, they came up 3rd place in League 2 last season, but ultimately I just think the squad's a bit too small to, well, stay up, a bit too thin, and yeah, this is going to fill in my relegation spots. I'm so sorry, Cambridge fans, but I've got you bottom in 24th place. I think, you know, you may well be not bottom, but I don't see you staying up, unfortunately, this season. Next up, we have got I'm trying to go through the alphabet in my head. I should have got this in order. Okay, I think it's, in fact, we've got Doncaster Rovers next, and yeah, Doncaster, they did well to stay up last season. Very well done to them, and I think they will stay up again quite comfortably. Obviously, I've got my 4 relegation spots all filled in here. I think it could be more of the same like last season. They start off strong and then have a dip in form towards the middle of the season before a sharp rise back up the table. But I do have them in and around mid-table of the surviving category. I've got Doncaster in 17th. I think they will stay up quite comfortably again this season, but ultimately I do think it's just not going to quite be, you know, it'll be, you know, fairly mid-table for the Dons this season, Doncaster. Next up, we have got Leyton Orient, and yep, they're at another side. 2 years ago made the playoffs. Last year they, well, really tailed off. Were in relegation trouble. I think I haven't seen anything to suggest it might not be more of the same this season, to be honest. I do think, I'd like to be proven wrong here, but ultimately I think Leyton Orient will survive, obviously, but I think it will be another full season of struggle this time. I've got Leyton Orient in 20th place, just surviving by the skin of their teeth. But ultimately, I do have them just surviving. Next up, we have got Leicester City. Okay, they were before Leyton Orient, but this one's a fairly easy one to predict. I have got Leicester City to win the league. I think they're too big. They're too strong to not possibly win the league. I know that's going to come back to bite me, but ultimately, I just think Leicester look too strong. I know they're losing some players and possibly their manager. I think they've changed, which could well work for them, getting rid of the manager who took them down from the Championship. But ultimately, I do think they are too strong to not win the league. So I have got Leicester winning the League One title this year. And then we've got Huddersfield Town. And Huddersfield, I do have, yeah, okay, so it's not actually alphabetical order, sorry for all the confusion, but I will improve in future videos, I promise. But Huddersfield, I do think, you know, the last couple seasons, I've thought they would make playoffs, and then they've just missed out, and ultimately, I do think that'll be more of the same this season. Unfortunately for the Terriers, I think it's like I say every year, I think they could make playoffs, but this year I don't want to be proven a fool, which I may well still be. I've got Huddersfield just missing out in 7th place. I think they'll be sniffing around playoffs all season, but ultimately I think they'll just miss out on that first place outside the playoffs there. And then we've got Luton Town. And Luton Town is the club I had to win the league last season. And they didn't even make playoffs, I don't believe. But this year, I think things are looking slightly better. I mean, I think they just missed out, like, by a point or two at the end of last season. But it must be said, it was an underwhelming season from the Hatters last season. But this season, I think they will be in there. I think they'll be pushing on. And I've got Luton in 4th place this season. I think Luton, they're a side I could see being in the playoffs, definitely. Maybe even the automatics, but I do certainly think playoffs. So I've got 4th place for Luton this season. And next up, we have got Mansfield Town. And Mansfield Town are another one that, I mean, what is this, their 3rd season? Yeah, this is their 3rd season in League One now, and I think, like I said about Doncaster, they are very steady Eddie in League One. I think they will, you know, comfortably survive. I've got them just ahead of Doncaster. I've got Mansfield in 16th place. In fact, they're actually up here. I've got Mansfield in 16th place. I think, like Doncaster, they start seasons well, then drop off, and then slightly have a slight push up in form again towards the end of the year. But ultimately, I do think Mansfield will survive mid-table as well for them. Next up, we've got MK Dons, and yeah, they've just been promoted from League 2, I believe, in 2nd place. And yeah, I think MK Dons are by far the strongest looking of all the clubs coming up from League 2 last season. And I think they could well push on in the league above this season. I've actually got MK Dons in the top 10. I've got them in 10th place. That here. I think, yeah, like I said about, well, yeah, kind of like Bromley, although I do have MK Dons staying up. Kind of like I said about Bromley, I think the promotion party may well push them on, and I think they may well finish in the top 10 here. 10th place for the official Dons. There. In fact, we've got 3 Dons in League 1 this season. Forgot about Wimbledon. And then we have got Notts County. And Notts County are another one that are coming up from League 2, and I think they like MK Dons, I think, are strong enough. They are kind of on their level now. I think Notts County are a League 1 sized club, and ultimately I do think Notts County will comfortably stay up here. I've got Notts County in 15th place. I think they'll be mid-table as well. I think, yeah, in and around mid-table is where I expect for Notts County. I mean, it could be a bit lower and they could just survive. But ultimately, I do have them in mid-table. So 15th place for Notts County. That would be a good finish for them, I think. And next up, we have got Oxford United. And this is the first club, the second club we're talking about who's gone down from the Championship last season. And well, this season I think, yeah, Oxford are probably the one I'm least certain on. I think certainly they'll be pushing for playoffs. I don't know where to predict them. So I do actually have them making playoffs, but just, and I could see them being a bit higher than this. But I've got Oxford in 6th place. I've got them just making playoffs this season. I think, like Luton and a few of the other sides down here, like Plymouth, I think, yeah, I think a couple seasons will, push them back up the table, and ultimately I do have Oxford in 6th place, I think, it might take them one season and then maybe a promotion push next season. But I do have them in the playoffs in 6th place here. And next up, we've got Peterborough United. And Peterborough are another one since being relegated from the Championship a few seasons ago now. They've always seemed to be around the bottom half, or, I mean, last season, like Leyton Orient, pushing for relegation, which is always a worry for Peterborough and all the clubs, in fact. But I do have Peterborough actually being in and around the relegation zone again. I have got them in 19th place. I think Peterborough will obviously have enough to survive, but ultimately I think it will just be by the skin of their teeth, like I said about Leyton Orient. Next up, we've got Plymouth Argyle, and Plymouth are... hold on. Alright, so yeah, Plymouth Argyle are next, and Plymouth are, you know, they had a season of 2 halves last season. Plymouth really struggled at the start of the season, and then went on a promotion charge. I don't know what to expect from them this season, but I think if they can continue that run of form into this season and have it the whole season, they could well be promotion favourites here. This may well be stupid, but I am looking at their form from the last season, the tail end of last season. I've got Plymouth in 3rd place. I've got them just missing out on automatics here. I think there are 2 clubs much stronger, but I do think that ultimately Plymouth will get top 3. And next up, we've got Reading, and Reading, yeah, they're another club that, since going down from the Championship, they've been around mid-table. They've pushed for playoffs a couple times, but ultimately have tailed off towards the end of the season. Yeah, Reading are another side I could see finishing around mid-table here. I don't know where to expect from them, but I have got Reading in 12th place. I've got them in mid-table. I think, yeah, they could well be pushing for playoffs again, or they could be in and around mid-table. I don't really know much business in League One, but I expect Reading to be in and around mid-table again. 12th place is where I have them. And next up, we have got Sheffield Wednesday, another club coming down from the Championship, and I like that badge. That badge is quite nice. I don't know if it's as nice as the other one though, but ultimately, I mean, yeah, they had a absolutely torrid season last season, and ultimately this season I think it could, I think, you know, with the back room gone and all of that going around, I think that it will be a more positive season this year in League One. I think going down may well have helped them. I have got Sheffield Wednesday as my other automatic promotion place. I've got them 2nd. I think they'll just miss out to one club, that being Leicester, but ultimately I do have them going up automatically in P2 this season. And yeah, I think the positivity will come back at Hillsborough. And next up, we've got Stevenage, and Stevenage were another club who made playoffs last season, but ultimately, I think, you know, that might have been a one-off. I think this season they will struggle again. I've got them going back down to their spiritual home of just surviving. I've got Stevenage in 18th place. I don't really have any logic for that, but I do think, yeah, Stevenage will just stay up. I mean, depends on the points, but I do think Stevenage will ultimately have quite a tail off this season. Next up, we've got Stockport County, and Stockport are a side I seem to feel a lot of people are sleeping on coming into this season. I know the quality in League One's got a lot higher this year, but I don't see any reason why Stockport can't be in and around playoffs again here. I have actually got Stockport County in my playoffs. I've got them in 5th place, I think. Yeah, I think, yeah, they finished 3rd both times they've been in League One so far. Mighty impressive so far. I think it might be a slight tail off this season, but I do think they've still got the quality to make the playoffs. Could be wrong, but I do think they'll be in and around that position. Then we're down to the 2 Ws. We've got Wigan Athletic next, and Wigan, I do have, yeah, these two sides I could see being in and around mid-table. Wigan are definitely one I could see being mid-table. They're always very streaky. They always go on a good run, then a bad run, then a good run again, then a bad run again. A bit like Mansfield. I think, yeah, based on that run of form, I'm going to have to put Wigan in the middle. I'm putting them slap bang in the middle in 14th place this season. Yeah, I think Wigan, they can go on good runs of form, but ultimately I think they're too streaky. So if you go on that run of form, you're usually somewhere in the middle of the pack. And then finally we've got Wycombe Wanderers, and Wycombe, another side I've seen push for promotion a couple of times. They're in the playoffs 2 years ago. They're always in and around the top 10, aren't they? But where do I have them? Well, I do have them in the top 10 again. I think they've got the quality to push for playoffs, but ultimately I do think they'll just miss out. I've got them, the only place I haven't put a club yet, I've put them 9th, I think. They'll be in between Bradford and MK Dons there. Yeah, I think Wycombe are just, you know, they always seem to be in and around the top 10 in League One, and they could be pushing for playoffs, but ultimately I don't think they will be. And there you have it, guys. There is my 1 to 24 table predictions on the tier list. Reading obviously from left to right in my positions, and yeah, I'd love to know your predictions in the comments down below. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one.